Good morning. My name is Sarah Schulist. I'm a settler woman and a professor of anthropology at MacEwan University in Edmonton, Alberta, Treaty 6 in Métis Territory. I'm going to be reading a short section of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission Summary Report. And I want to take the opportunity before I begin to thank Erica Violet Lee, Joseph Murdoch Flowers, and my friend Zoe Todd for organizing this event to make the Truth and Reconciliation Report findings more accessible to all Canadians and really encourage, especially my fellow settler Canadians, to read and listen to these findings and read and listen to them again and take them to heart and start to use them to understand the complexity of the legacy of residential schools and everything that it has had on our country, and especially on the Indigenous people whose land we continue to live on, and to really move forward in making these recommendations a reality. The section I'm reading is entitled Parole and Community Supports. It is page 225 of the summary report. Aboriginal offenders face many challenges in obtaining parole from prison and beginning their transition back into the community. For many Aboriginal inmates seeking parole, their criminal history is a major factor held against them. Although some research has concluded that criminal history is a reliable risk predictor for both Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal inmates, systemic discrimination related to poverty and the legacy of residential schools undoubtedly disadvantages Aboriginal offenders. Just as some courts have the benefit of background and contextual information contained in pre-sentencing reports, parole hearings need a full understanding of an offender's circumstances when making their decisions. When the National Parole Board grants parole, correctional programming continues. The early stages of parole are often spent in a residential correctional facility, a halfway house. Although it is not a prison, a halfway house requires the offender to reside there and not be absent except under specific exceptions, for example, supervised absences or employment. It is intended as a transitional phase in an offender's parole, neither full incarceration nor full freedom in the community, with the goal of gradual reintegration into the community. Unfortunately, there are too few halfway houses that provide programming specifically for Aboriginal offenders.